Well, we're here today to celebrate the contribution that Joe Kambeitz has made, not just to the Salmon Enhancement Program, but to community stewardship. I am one of those perishable volunteers that he originally thought of when he developed the yellow fish and the storm drain marking program. I was a guide leader with all these young ladies that wanted to do something beneficial for the environment. And we didn't really know where to start. We got a hold of our science coordinator at the school district who directed us to Bev Bowler. And that's the first contact we had. And poof, arrived at my house, a big wooden box. And myself and these young ladies traipsed us around for about 7 years, marking storm drains in the Maple Creek watershed, which led to me becoming a stream keeper, which in turn led me to understand stewardship was the most amazing place that I could ever work with people like Joe, who are a Renaissance person. Science, art, and people, putting them all together to make a difference for salmon. And eventually I went back to school and I had this amazing job for many, many years, but it was about Joe's program and that little yellow fish and his contribution that I was one of those little fish that was attracted to this program. And the difference that it's made in Maple Creek for our water quality after 20 years is huge. One of the many opportunities that I had to take the yellowfish and the storm drain marking program was when I was a stewardship coordinator for the Habitat Conservation Stewardship Program. And taking that and looking at the impact that it could have in a place like Burnaby that had an open water policy, people love clean water. And when they realized that there were fish in their streams and they would benefit from the yellowfish on their roads, it took people in the community understanding that this is an opportunity for them to change the way that they manage their own properties. And that, as a stewardship coordinator, that was one of the biggest changes that we were able to bring that also came from the yellowfish and the storm drain marking program. It's one of DFO's programs that appears to be small. It's just a yellowfish and it's used quite often, or young adults painting yellowfish on the road. It is one of the biggest influences on people's management and how they manage their own properties, that they became more conscious of how much fertilizer they use and where they wash their car, because the yellow fish at the end of their driveway let them know and reminded them that there was salmon downstream of that yellow fish. It's one of the silent sentinels of this neighborhood that reminds people to do a better job than they're doing. In addition, Joe didn't just develop the yellowfish and give it to the stewards and walk away from it. He had his eyes on it the whole time. A few years after he developed the door hanger with the information on it that went with the yellowfish so that people would understand there was a relationship between that yellowfish and their own house, he developed a glue-on decal that the youth got to pound onto the road. Now, a lot of the youth prefer to do the painting rather than the decal, but there's a good application for both in different places. And so he's always had his eye on it, and also how to fund it, how to raise money for it out of the benevolent person that he is, by doing carvings and making donations to different groups so they could afford to buy the decals. He's been stewarding his program.